I've been a dumb artist before, just signing shit, just because they get you with the money. You gotta think, you 20 years old, these folks like, look, you got a hot song, let me give you $2 million. But then I'ma own you.
He signed deals without reading a single line. He put his trust in the wrong hands, and by the time the truth finally hit him, the cage was already locked tight around him. This is the story of Offset, Wack 100, and millions of dollars that somebody is not being honest about. This is where the masks slip, the math stops adding up, and the real story starts bleeding through. Bad contracts, shattered loyalty, and the music industry playing its dirtiest game yet. Before we even step into the Wack 100 and Offset situation, there's something critical about the rap business most people never truly understand. The business side of this industry is cold, and that's ice cold for real. Nobody understands that better than Offset himself, someone who survived the trenches of the music industry and walked out smarter, tougher, and way more cautious. A lot of people at home think rappers are just stacking cash, living flashy, popping bottles, and spinning foreign cars non-stop. But that picture is far from the truth you see online. Labels and managers stay running plays on artists every single day. They take advantage of youth, hunger, and that burning need to escape tough situations. When you're young and starving for a breakthrough, you'll sign almost anything put in front of you without thinking twice. And when Offset sat down on Close Shay Shay, he didn't sugarcoat a thing. He spoke openly about how young artists get pulled into deals that follow them, pressure them, and haunt them for years.
Because at first, when I first came in the game, well, you got $2 million for me? Man, run it. Publisher, you got $5 million? Run it. Not really reading the terms, not really understanding, and then your lawyer ain't gonna tell you, gonna tell you what you gotta do, but I feel like if you build with your lawyer, like I talk to my lawyer day to day, when I'm asking questions, and he know like, I'm gonna ask this question, and I need you to break it down into a way that I can understand, so I understand what I'm signing up to, because I've been a dumb artist before, just signing shit, just because they get you with the money. You gotta think, you 20 years old, these folks like, look, you got a hot song, let me give you $2 million. But then
This right here is the game, and everyone watching needs to really lock in on what Offset is breaking down, because it connects directly to everything we're about to talk about. This isn't random talk. This is the blueprint behind the whole situation unfolding in real time. Offset is basically pulling the curtain back on how the industry really moves, and that's exactly why people instantly assumed he'd have smoke with Wack 100 when this story first started spreading. Wack has long been accused of running the same kind of moves on artists, using that same old playbook major labels have been running for decades, just repackaged and flipped for a new era.
On you, and then you got 5 albums, but then soon the album come out, because most people don't know, when your album come out, you at an artist level like me, man, your first month, they done made $2-3 million.
Wow.
But it ain't your cut, it ain't your money, and it's not counting to your recoupment, but on what they own, that then recoup the $2-3 million, and they still got you in $3 million debt, and quarterly counting it down.
Hear that clearly. Let's slow this down so nobody misses what Offset just exposed, because this part is key to understanding the whole finessing conversation that everybody keeps talking about. The album drops, the buzz is crazy, and the numbers start moving fast. The label pulls in $2 to $3 million off your music, and even after they already made back the advance they gave you, you're still stuck counting debt because of all the random expenses they slap onto your account. That's the finesse, that's the setup, that's the game. This is the same trick industry insiders have been running on artists forever, from the Motown era all the way up to today. Now, all of this context leads straight to Wack 100, and why so many people instantly believe stories about him finessing artists. Wack has been in the music industry for decades, managing high-profile names like The Game and Blueface, while staying deeply connected to West Coast industry politics and street circles. Everybody knows him, and he knows everybody. But when it comes to contracts and business moves, his reputation has been under heavy scrutiny for years now. Every time his name comes up, the same concerns resurface, according to DJ academics and multiple industry voices who've spoken on it publicly. One of the biggest claims is that Wack allegedly signed Blueface into a deal where he takes around 70% of his total earnings. Now that sounds wild, right? The way it was structured, Wack positioned himself as both the label and the manager. As the label, he takes 50% of everything Blueface makes. Then as the manager, he allegedly adds another 20% on top of that. That's a massive cut. Academics called it double dipping, a clear conflict of interest where nobody in the room is truly protecting the artist. But here's where the real tension between Offset and Wack start heating up. And it has nothing to do with contracts or bad business deals. This situation is way more personal, and it involves people close to both sides. Wack has had a relationship with Cardi B that goes back years, even before she knew Offset. He's always shown her respect, and when Offset and Cardi's very public issues started spilling across social media and entertainment news, Wack found himself pulled straight into the middle of their drama, whether he wanted that spotlight or not.
Well, you threatened to expose some information about Offset involving some of the drama with Cardi B.
Who?
You.
Oh, I kept the exposure from happening. You know, I got phone calls from people outside of Offset.
So check this out. Wack openly admitted on camera that he was holding information that could have seriously damaged Offset's reputation and public image, but he made a deliberate decision to keep it locked down and not let it leak. Why would he do that? It all comes back to his long-standing respect for Cardi B and the relationship they've had for years. That connection mattered enough for him to pause, think, and hold back information that could have caused real damage. But here's the twist. Before he chose to keep things contained, Wack had already put Offset on the blast publicly in a major way. He went straight to his Instagram story and posted, "Lil Weird Dude, I told you, keep me out of your emotional situation." That message lit things up instantly and made the situation way more serious than most people realized at the time. Now this is where the whole story turns absolutely wild and way more complicated than anyone expected. Blueface, who was Wack's own artist at the time, dropped some extremely damaging claims about Offset, alleging he was involved with Krishan Rock while still married to Cardi B. That information exploded because of everything already happening between Blueface and Krishan at the time. Offset reportedly reacted immediately, calling Wack directly, and demanded he get control of his artist and stop the situation before even more information spilled out into the public.
He's blaming me for what Blueface is doing. I didn't agree with Blueface for what he did.
What did Blueface do?
Well, he posted, I don't know if it was text messages, pictures, I don't know what it was, right? Of Offset and Rock, Rashawn, around, right? I wake up to it. I guess it's on Twitter somewhere. I don't be on Twitter, I don't know. My phone's going crazy, right? It's Offset. He's telling me, only thing I'm hearing is Blueface. I call Blueface, hey man, what the f is going on?
So Offset was moving under the belief that Wack was the one behind the exposure, that he gave Blueface the green light to air his business out publicly. He thought this whole thing was coordinated and intentional. But Wack still claims to this day that he had zero knowledge of it until it was already spreading online like wildfire. According to Wack, Blueface was acting on his own timing, making his own calls, not checking in with his manager. No heads up, no warning, just straight action. And here's the part people miss. Wack was fully ready to step back and let Blueface go all the way with exposing everything he had on Offset. He was tired of being blamed for something he says he never planned, never approved, and never knew about beforehand. But then one phone call flipped the entire situation upside down. Cardi B personally reached out to Wack and kept it real with him. She told him, "We're already separated at this point. This really isn't my situation anymore, and I don't want to be dragged into it." Still, she respectfully asked him to keep things contained and not let it spiral any further. And out of respect for their friendship, Wack agreed. So the Offset, Cardi, and Wack situation ended up getting cooled down and de-escalated because Cardi stepped in and asked for peace herself. That part got handled quietly, but that's not even the story that had the streets buzzing for years. Now it's time to talk about what really sparked non-stop conversations. The infamous dice game that allegedly kicked off a whole chain reaction. Now we're officially stepping into the heart of this entire situation. The story that's been told, flipped, argued, denied, and debated across every hip-hop platform, podcast, and social feed for years. The infamous dice game that started it all. We're talking about the infamous dice game between Offset and 42 Dugg that went down at QC Studios back in 2019. Wack 100 was there that night. He's been the main voice telling this story over and over in interviews and podcast appearances. According to his detailed version, this is exactly how everything unfolded that night. the moment that changed everything and set this whole saga in motion.
What is going on with 42 Doug and you? He clapped back. You said Offset ran his pockets in the studio.
That's not what I said.
What'd you say?
I said you tried to leave the dice game. Offset wasn't going for it. He went outside. He was walking away.
See, Wack was clearing something major right there, and a lot of people missed it the first time. He never actually said Offset straight up robbed anyone or snatched money off the table. That was never his claim. What he said was Offset tried to check him for leaving the dice game early, right when it was Offset's turn to roll and he was on a hot streak. That detail matters because it flips the whole narrative and changes how that moment really went down.
So what, tapping pockets is like, I'm gonna rob you, but it's like
No,
metaphorically,
bottom
I'm
line,
like
look,
figuring
nephew got
out if you
about
have anything to steal.
42 Doug had a bunch of money in both his pockets. You know, he got skinny jeans on, so both down his pockets. Offset didn't take too kind to him walking away from the dice game when it was Offset dice. He was in him 20,000.
So you can't just walk away from the dice game?
No.
That's a violation.
Let me break down exactly what Wack says went down that night so everybody clearly understands the order of events, because details matter here. This was back in 2019, on the very last day of the Lil Baby tour that was passing through Atlanta. Wack brought Blueface out there for one reason and one reason only, to lock in and record a song with Offset. That was the whole reason they were even at the studio that night. He called Pierre P directly and had him open up QC Studios so the session could happen without any delays. Now, for people who don't know, dice game etiquette is serious business in the streets, and breaking it is a major violation. When someone is on a hot streak, hitting their numbers and building momentum, you don't just scoop your money off the floor and walk away. That's seen as disrespect to the shooter in the entire game. You're supposed to stay put and let them finish their role. No shortcuts, no funny moves. And according to Wack's account, this is exactly where things started heating up and turning physical fast.
QC Studios, that gate don't open on motion. You gotta open from inside the building. Offset jumps up and trails behind him. I come behind him. I got a few of the schoolyards with me because we on tour. Offset walks right up and Doug's walking away from him, grabs his left pocket. There's money bulging out of it. He didn't take the money out of his pocket, right? I don't know if he was attempting to take it or he was just trying to turn him around or what it was. Nevertheless, Doug ends up turning around. When he turned around, Offset foul.
In the face.
Right in the face.
So according to Wack's detailed version, Offset followed Doug outside and reached toward his pocket where the money was clearly bulging through those skinny jeans. Doug turned around to see what was going on, and that's when Offset allegedly swung and hit him clean in the face. No hesitation. Wack says after that, he literally started counting in his head, waiting to see if anything else would happen next. 1, 1,002, and Doug didn't react at all. No swing back, no retaliation, no chaos, nothing. That silence right there is what made people start questioning everything. But here's the moment that really shocked everyone and flipped the entire narrative upside down. When 42 Doug went on Instagram Live calling Wack a liar and denying the story completely, Wack responded in a way nobody expected. Instead of just talking, he pulled up the DMs, direct messages from Offset himself, and that move instantly changed how people looked at the whole situation.
So Offset says, nah, Unc is right. I gotta respect what he's saying. They go back in the building. I tell him, open the motherfucking, that's from Offset. See the date, scroll down.
Wednesday.
That's Doug doing his rant. What the fuck did Offset say to me?
Why this N-word lying? Oh.
See, one thing about Wack, I got the content. I recited everything that happened, right?
Offset straight up confirmed Wack's version of events through those DMs, and that's what made this situation blow up even more. When Doug went on his rant claiming none of it happened, Offset hit Wack up asking why Doug was lying. That message was huge because Offset was basically backing Wack and co-signing everything he had been saying about that night, directly clashing with what 42 Doug was telling the public.
Listen, I can show you just prior to that Offset cussing me out.
For what?
Cause of the Blueface shit. Cussing me the fuck out, going crazy on me.
But no love lost, because when the Doug thing came up, he was...
No, but it's gonna lead to this. What does he say? You my what?
You my uncle, these Texas...
But 42 Doug was not rocking with that narrative at all. He jumped on Instagram Live and told a completely different version of what went down that night, staking his reputation and even saying it on his mother's life to prove he wasn't lying.
And I was by myself with $100,000. They tried me, bro. Right or wrong, they tried me. They surrounded me, told me, I ain't giving a rich nigga shit.
And we,
my mama can die right now. Where
me, you, and Squeeze catch niggas at, dog?
Got it. My mama could die if I'm lying, bro. I didn't get them niggas a dime, bro. And I was by myself, Gotti. Who you know doing that? Who you know leaving somewhere with 100,000 surrounded by 12 niggas clothes and leave out that bitch with all his money, all his jewelry?
42 Doug put it on his mama, and in the streets, that's as serious as it gets. You don't bring your mother into it unless you're standing firm on your truth. He said clearly and confidently that he didn't hand over a single dollar to anyone, walked out with all his money, and still had every piece of jewelry on him. That's an extremely bold claim to make on camera, in front of the whole world, with no room to walk it back later. But Doug didn't stop at just denying the robbery narrative. He started hinting at serious retaliation that allegedly went down after that night, which added a whole new layer to the situation. That's a heavy statement, especially coming from academics, someone who's known and worked with Wack for years. Even he admitted that at this point, he can't fully stand behind or verify everything Wack has claimed anymore. A lot of people in the culture tried to tie all of this together: the business issues, street politics, relationship drama, and industry pressure. Folks were throwing conspiracy theories everywhere, trying to explain why Migos eventually split up. But Offset himself finally sat down and cleared the air, explaining what really caused the breakup and everything that followed. When Keke Palmer asked him directly about Migos breaking up in 2023, Offset didn't dodge it or sugarcoat it at all. He spoke his truth plainly and honestly, shutting down years of rumors in one conversation.
Disbanded in 2023. When did it really start to fall apart?
It wasn't
Obviously
really,
before then.
I think things on the business side wasn't turning to my favor. I wanted, I got kids. You know what I mean? I got kids, a family. And I'm just getting older and more smart, paying more attention to my money, my finances, and felt like I wanted a bigger piece.
Sure.
Not from them, but from the business.
Yeah, let's clear this up right now. It was never about Quavo trying to be the star or chasing the spotlight like people kept saying. It wasn't about any female drama, no messy rumors, no made-up stories tied to the whole Saweetie situation. The truth was business, plain and simple. Offset wanted a bigger share of what the group was bringing in together, and the structure they were locked into wasn't letting that happen. He had a family to take care of, real responsibilities on his shoulders, and he needed to see more money flowing his way. Not promises, not excuses, just fair business.
Is that true to you and Sweetie?
No, man. It was a rumor, man. And I feel like it was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro. It was something deeper than that. You know what I mean? It was something deeper than that.
On the Breakfast Club morning show, they broke down Offset's interview piece by piece and talked through how he finally addressed all those long-running rumors that had been floating around for years.
So Sweetie is not the reason that Offset and Quavo are no longer friends, nor is she the reason that Cardi B and Offset divorced. Offset sat down with Keke Palmer on This Is Keke Palmer and talked about that rumor that has been circulating. Let's take a listen.
It was something deeper than that for the split of me and bro. I don't really want to touch on, but it's something deeper than that. I think that was just like a thing that was a buzz that I heard.
Offset even went as far as saying there were business people actively plotting behind the scenes, trying to manufacture division between family members just to keep control and protect their own power.
I think people was trying to tear my situation down in that situation. And
You think there were business people that were plotting on you both?
for sure.
Yeah, and they were creating you guys, stopping you guys from being strong so that y'all couldn't go together against that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would be seeing headlines, and we men, so we don't play those games. We don't even know how to do that.
This connects directly back to what we talked about at the very start of this video. The industry is built to keep artists divided, fractured, and weak, so they can't unite and push back against unfair deals and long-term exploitation. Offset saw that exact pattern playing out in his own career and even within his family. One of the heaviest and most emotional moments from Offset's recent interviews came when he opened up about Takeoff's tragic passing. He revealed guilt he had been carrying silently for a long time, feelings he had never shared publicly until that raw conversation with Keke Palmer.
People like that pass away, especially so suddenly. It had to make you think. You know, what did you think? You know what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, I never really said this. Like, I felt like I had that, like, some responsibility was on me, because what if I didn't go solo? What if I just thugged it out with the business not being right? You know what I mean? Maybe we wouldn't even been right there or in that place, because I just know how we move when I'm around a little.
Man, that's heavy for real. Sit with this for a second, because Offset is basically saying something deep and painful. He feels like if he never stepped out to chase his solo career, if he had stayed and kept fighting through the business problems inside the group, maybe Takeoff wouldn't have ended up in that exact situation where he lost his life. He knew how the group moved when they were all together. Offset was the one who read the room, felt the energy shift, and said, nah, we gotta get up out of here when things started feeling off. That night, he wasn't there to make that call, and that weight sits heavy on him every single day. And on top of that internal guilt he was already carrying, he had to deal with the internet doing what it always does. People who didn't know a thing about their real relationship started pushing fake stories, saying he and Takeoff weren't even cool before he passed. Those made-up narratives only made an already heartbreaking situation even worse. Now that we've laid everything out, the industry Finesse Offset personally went through, the KK, Playboy, Cardi B, and Blueface drama that created tension with Wack, the infamous Dice Game story, and the Migos split with Offset finally speaking his truth, it's time to connect the dots. When it comes to the Dice Game story, Wack showed Offset's actual DMs, backing up his version of events against what 42 Dugg was saying. Offset was never beefing with Wack over that situation. He was actually co-signing Wack and confirming what really went down that night. Before we close this chapter, there's something powerful Offset said about hip-hop and his place in it that deserves attention. Despite all the drama, all the messy business, and all the personal loss, he still believes in the culture and knows exactly who he is within it.
So you don't believe hip-hop is declining?
I don't believe so. Not while I'm in it. What the hell I look like saying it's declining right now? I'm in it. No, sir. And there's way more rich black folks off of hip-hop
that made it
ever.
Right.
It ain't never been no execs in the buildings like it is now. It's black execs in the buildings, like in the label buildings, making decisions more than it's ever been. And we still run the culture.
That's the mindset of someone who's been through the fire and somehow made it out still standing. Offset is still in the game, still applying pressure, still making moves, and still learning from every mistake he's made in business and in his personal life. At the end of the day, that growth and resilience is what really matters. This whole breakdown wasn't about gossip. It was about understanding how things really move behind the scenes. We went through Offset's own words on predatory record deals, Wack 100's detailed Dice Game story, 42 Dugg's emotional response denying everything, the Cardi B situation that caused real tension, the truth behind the Migos split, and everything connected in between. Now it's on you. Drop a comment and let me know who you believe in this situation, Wack or Dugg. And do you think the industry is still finessing artists the same way Offset said he experienced early in his career? If you made it this far, smash that like button, subscribe to Street Smoke if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into hip-hop drama and industry politics. Until next time, stay locked in and stay informed.